All right, a wonderful tip over the years that's helped so many is the analogy of pushing the beach ball below the level of the water, and that's helping the takeaway. Okay, so many questions about the takeaway. We see so often a takeaway that really rolls inside. Now, I have a couple things to say about an inside takeaway that I think are important to understand. You know, the one thing I've been phrasing a lot to my players over this past year especially is that, hey, it's not so much that you're not taking the golf club away inside as much as it is you're just not hinging the club enough or correctly. So think about this. Oftentimes what happens to a player is their hands are raising up and they're picking up alongside their body. They're elevating too quickly. Now what happens when that happens is there's a lack of leverage. The club stays low. If the hands get high, the club stays low. Now if that happens, look at this. The club head is well underneath my hands there. And unfortunately what's going to happen if I keep turning is it's going to have the butt of the club point well above the golf ball, which is a big no-no. That just means the golf club is well behind us. We're either going to have to come over the top or flip it in order to catch it up to our body. Now, when we keep our hands low, like we're pushing a beach ball below the level of the water, let's forget the golf club for a second. What that's doing with our hands to body is that's keeping the width, the distance between the center of my body and hands, and it's also maintaining connection between the center of my body and my hands. So when I push that beach ball below the level of the water, I'm keeping width, I'm keeping connection. Now, Cameron Sisk, our player, always reminds people in our clinics when he's helping out, you're not doing that with losing your height. You're keeping your chin on a glass tabletop and you're simply pushing away on the handle. Now, if you're set up correctly, hips over ankles, the proper tilt with the shoulders out past the toes, we have the butt of the club into our belt buckle. Look, there's leverage between the lead arm and club here. What I mean by that is there's an angle here. If I were to push down on that angle, I'm adding to the leverage. So I'm pushing my hands away like I'm pushing a beach ball below the level of the water, slightly pushing down on the handle. Now, if my hands stay low, it's easier to get the golf club up. So watch this again. The player who's hands high, club low, who's going to be inside, watch what happens if I just push down on the handle. Oh, there we go. And look how the club pops up in front of my hands. Now it's going to set on top of that trail forearm. Butt of the club is going to be pointed at the golf ball or slightly inside of it, which just means the golf club is in front of my body's center. Big Kev behind the camera. We were driving up here to do some filming today, talking about topics that really could help people. He said, hey, pushing the beach ball below the level of the water, it helps everybody. Helps you too, Kev. Okay, so your swing's gotten a lot better, brother. So yeah, but this is the big one. You know, if we can keep the hands low and away, I want you guys to think about this. We're keeping width, we're keeping connection. Let me be clear on width and connection again. Width, distance between center of body and hands, connection, relationship between center of body and hands, right? They're one and the same. If you maintain one, you typically get the other. And it's important to understand, you push away on that handle, well, not only do we get the leverage we need, we also get the width and connection. From this perspective here, that set position that I talk about, the hand path continues to go down the line of my feet. I'm pushing that beach ball down the line of my feet. I'm imagining I have the level of the water right at my belt line, and I'm keeping my hands low, pushing it away. And that's what's going to help me then create the proper swing plane. So when I create that leverage, that L between my lead arm and the club, my butt of the club is pointed more down towards where the ball would be. Now with just pure rotation through impact, that's going to hit the golf ball right down the line without any manipulation of my body or hands to do so. I can simply rotate around my spine angle and around my lead leg to get the golf ball going down the line. And then from this perspective, what's great is when I create that leverage, I also create the proper angle of attack to catch that ball first, take the divot later. So I love this. A little bonus material here from Big Kev. He's watched so many lessons over the years, and he just said, hey, what's another good checkpoint for somebody who's not hinging enough? A great one. My coach used to always hold a golf club right here at my belt high and hold it out here. And he'd say, Adam, I want your hands underneath that, and I want the club head already above your right shoulder, my trail shoulder. So when you watch from this perspective, if I push my hands low and away, boom. And look at that club head, you guys. It's already above my shoulder. My hands are right at pocket level. They're just barely below my pocket. That right there is a great checkpoint if you've hinged the club enough. And guys, listen, if you keep your hands low and get the club up, the takeaways that go like this, at one point right here, that club is down the line. But watch what happens if I push down and the hands were low and the club was up. Look at that. Okay, so it's really important to understand, yes, do we always preach a slight 45-degree hinge? Why 45? Well, yeah, I mean, that's the direction the turn's going, and that gets the golf club set. But I'm pushing downward as I turn, and yes, it kickstarts that club at a 45-degree angle relative to where I'm standing here. But that right there ends up being down the line of my feet, up the forearm, with the butt of the club pointed towards the ball. And there we go. Good position to top to slot the club, and then rotate through impact with the least amount of manipulation. Push that beach ball below the level of the water, and you're going to see your takeaway immediately improve.
At Forzak Golf, we take a lot of pride in having developed some of the best and most consistent golf swings on the planet. We do this through simplicity. Our Full Swing Masterclass will take you on a step-by-step, easy-to-understand process on how to get your golf swing better than ever. Join the many before you who've utilized our Full Swing Masterclass to take their games to the next level and beyond.